Teni worked a 16-hour shift at the hospital, rushed to her sister Olivia's party still wearing her scrubs, and walked in just in time to see her boyfriend of 4 years on one knee. But he wasn't proposing to her. He was proposing to her sister. The same sister she dropped out of med school for. The same sister whose influencer dreams she funded while skipping meals. And then it got worse. Her ex grabbed the microphone and said, "I want to thank Teni for introducing us. None of this would have happened without you." They thanked her. Like she was a supporting character in their love story. Teni locked herself in the bathroom, staring at her reflection when a stranger walked in. Dangerous eyes. Expensive suit. The kind of man who made rooms go quiet. She was exhausted, heartbroken, and done being invisible. So she did something completely insane. She grabbed his face and kissed him. Hard. Desperate. In front of 500 people. What she didn't know. That stranger was Han-Jun, one of Seoul's most powerful and dangerous businessmen. And that one kiss just changed both of their lives forever. But before we continue, I need you to do me a quick favor. Smash that subscribe button and drop a red heart emoji in the comments. Afro Seoul Romance Tales is a small channel trying to grow, and your support means everything. Plus, you're gonna want to see how this revenge story ends. Trust me. Now, let's get back to the chaos. To understand how Teni ended up kissing a stranger in a bathroom, we need to go back 6 years. Back to when everything started falling apart. Teni was 22, second year at Seoul National University Medical School, top of her class, with a future so bright it hurt to look at. Then her father's business collapsed overnight. The Morrison family was drowning in debt. Her mother called crying. They were about to lose everything. Teni made a choice that would haunt her for years. She withdrew from medical school, got her nursing certification instead, and started working double shifts at Seoul General Hospital. Every paycheck went home to Chicago, saving her family, funding her younger sister Olivia's influencer dreams. She told herself it was temporary. That was the lie she lived with for 4 years. She met Kim Baek-Seok during her first year as a nurse. Charming, ambitious, with a smile that made promises he never intended to keep. He pursued her relentlessly. And Teni, exhausted and lonely in a foreign country, believed him. 3 years into their relationship, Olivia moved to Seoul. Teni got her an apartment, paid her living expenses, and introduced her to everyone she knew, including Baek-Seok. That introduction was the beginning of the end. 6 months before that rooftop proposal, things started changing. Baek-Seok became distant. Always working late. Always on his phone. When Teni suggested setting a wedding date, he said they should wait. Teni agreed because that's what she always did. She agreed. She sacrificed. She waited. Meanwhile, Olivia's influencer career was exploding. 300,000 followers. Brand deals. A skincare line launch. Teni was happy for her. Proud even. She'd helped make it happen. The night of Olivia's launch party, Teni almost didn't go. She'd just finished a brutal shift in the ER, 3 cardiac arrests, 2 deaths, and a teenage girl who didn't make it. Teni was emotionally destroyed, physically exhausted. But Olivia had begged her to come. "It's my big night, sis. I need you there." So Teni showered in the hospital locker room, threw on her scrubs and a coat, and took a taxi to the rooftop bar in Gangnam. The party was already in full swing. Influencers everywhere, cameras flashing, champagne flowing. Teni felt invisible in her scrubs and sneakers. She found Olivia near the DJ booth, stunning in a designer dress. "Oh my God, Teni, you actually came," Olivia said, barely glancing at her. "Can you grab some photos of me with the Sephora CEO? Your phone is fine." No hug. No, thank you for coming. Just immediately put to work. Teni should have left right then. But she didn't. She stayed because that's what she always did. And then the music stopped. The DJ announced a special moment. Teni watched, confused, as Olivia walked to the stage. And there was Baek-Seok, her Baek-Seok, in a suit she'd never seen him wear, holding a microphone and a ring box. The proposal happened in slow motion. Baek-Seok talking about meeting Olivia 6 months ago. 6 months. The exact time he'd started being distant. Calling her beautiful, ambitious, Everything he'd ever wanted. Words he'd said to Teni once upon a time. Olivia crying perfect tears, saying yes. The crowd erupting in applause. And then the final knife twist. Baek-Seok thanked Teni for introducing them. Olivia blew her a kiss. The crowd applauded Teni's role in their love story. She was the supporting character. The bridge they'd walked across and burned behind them. Teni stood there, invisible in her scrubs, and something inside her shattered. Not her heart. Hearts break clean. This was something deeper. The part of her that believed in fairness, in karma, in good things happening to good people died right there on that rooftop. She pushed through the crowd and locked herself in the bathroom. The fluorescent lights were too bright. Her reflection looked like a stranger. Dark circles under her eyes. Chapped hands. Unfashionable scrubs because she couldn't afford the designer clothes her paychecks bought for Olivia. She looked at herself and thought, I'm done being good. Good got me nothing but used. That's when the bathroom door opened and a man walked in. Tall, dangerous looking, in an all-black suit that screamed money and power. He didn't seem surprised to find a woman in the ladies' room. He just calmly walked to the sink and started washing his hands. Teni should have left. Instead, she heard herself ask, Do you ever feel like your entire life was a waste? The stranger paused, water still running, and met her eyes in the mirror. No pity. No judgment. Just cold assessment. Every day, he said finally. Until I stopped living for other people. Teni laughed. A bitter, broken sound. And how did you do that? He turned to face her. Up close, he was even more intimidating. Sharp jawline, dark eyes that had seen things, and an energy that screamed danger. I decided that if I was going to suffer, it would be for my own choices. Not theirs. Something in those words hit Teni like a bullet. Her own choices. When was the last time she'd made a choice for herself? The stranger studied her. Let me guess. You save lives for a living. Sacrifice everything for people who don't appreciate it. And someone just made you feel worthless. Teni felt tears threatening, but refused to let them fall. My boyfriend just proposed to my sister. At her party. That I helped pay for. And thanked me for introducing them. For the first time, emotion flickered across the stranger's face. Something dark and understanding. And what do you want to do about it? Teni met his eyes. In that moment, she made a decision. Not a good decision. Not a smart decision. But her decision. She grabbed his face and kissed him. Not gently. Not sweetly. It was an angry, desperate, claiming kiss. A kiss that said I'm not invisible. A kiss that said I matter. A kiss that said watch me. The stranger responded immediately, his hands gripping her waist, kissing her back with an intensity that stole her breath. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he looked at her with something close to respect. What's your name? He asked. Teni Morrison. Han-Jun. He studied her face. Are you actually crazy or just pretending? I haven't decided yet. He smiled. Not a kind smile. A dangerous one. Good. Come with me. Teni should have said no. Instead, she let this dangerous stranger take her hand and lead her out of the bathroom. They walked through the party, straight toward the stage where Olivia and Baek-Seok were cutting their engagement cake. The crowd parted as they approached. People stared. Whispered. They reached the stage just as Olivia noticed them. Her sister's eyes went wide. Teni? What are you doing? Who is this? Han-Jun didn't give Teni time to answer. He turned to the crowd. Apologies for the interruption. He wrapped an arm around Teni's waist. I couldn't wait any longer to make this official. The entire party went silent. Han-Jun reached into his jacket and pulled out a small black box. Teni's brain screamed that this was insane, but her mouth stayed shut. She was done being the good girl who did the right thing. Teni Morrison, Han-Jun said, loud enough for everyone to hear, I know this isn't traditional. But when you meet the woman you want to spend your life with, why wait? He opened the box. Inside was a massive diamond ring, easily 3 times the size of Olivia's. Marry me. The crowd exploded. Gasps. Shouts. Camera flashes everywhere. Olivia screamed, what the hell is happening? Baek-Seok just stood there looking like he'd been slapped. And Teni, exhausted nurse Teni who'd been invisible her whole life, looked at this dangerous stranger and said, "Yes." Han-Jun slid the ring onto her finger. Then he pulled Teni close and kissed her again, this time for the cameras, for the crowd, for her sister and ex-boyfriend who were watching their special moment get completely overshadowed. When the kiss ended, Han-Jun addressed the crowd again. "We'll be celebrating at the Shilla Hotel next Saturday. You're all invited." Then he looked directly at Olivia. "Congratulations on your engagement. I hope it brings you everything you deserve." The way he said deserve made it sound like a threat. Before anyone could respond, Han-Jun's security team appeared, 6 men in black suits, moving with military precision. They created a path through the stunned crowd. Han-Jun guided Teni toward the exit. Behind them, Olivia was screaming, "Teni, get back here. What the hell are you doing?" Teni turned back one last time, looked at her sister standing there in her designer dress, perfect makeup running with angry tears, finally not getting all the attention. "I'm done being invisible," Teni said. Then she left with a man she'd known for less than an hour. Han-Jun's car was waiting outside. A sleek black Mercedes. Teni hesitated for just a second, but then she remembered Olivia's face, Baek-Seok's shock, and climbed in. They drove in silence for a few minutes. Teni stared at the massive ring on her finger, reality starting to creep back in. "Okay," she said finally. "What just happened?" Han-Jun poured 2 glasses of whiskey from the car's bar. "You got engaged. To a stranger. Technically, we've known each other for almost an hour now." "That's not funny." "I'm not joking." He handed her a glass. "But I understand if you want out. We can turn around. I'll have my driver take you home." Teni took the whiskey but didn't drink it yet. "And if I don't want out?" Han-Jun studied her for a long moment. "Then we need to talk about what this actually is. Which is a mutually beneficial arrangement." "I'm going to be honest with you, Teni. That wasn't a spontaneous proposal." "Well, the timing was. But I've been looking for someone exactly like you for months." Teni felt her stomach drop. "What do you mean?" "Someone who looks innocent. Someone with a respectable career. Someone who can make me look legitimate." He paused. "Someone the Korean public will believe I've fallen in love with." "You're using me." "I'm offering you an opportunity," Han-Jun corrected. Teni should have been angry. Instead, she heard herself ask, "What kind of opportunity?" Han-Jun smiled. "I run what people politely call an import-export business. I broker deals between people who can't meet publicly. I'm very good at what I do, which has made me very wealthy and very watched. You're a criminal. I prefer strategic problem solver. But yes, I operate in gray areas. The problem is, the Korean National Tax Service has been investigating my businesses for 2 years. They can't prove anything, but they're making things difficult. And where do I come in? Public perception. Right now, I'm Lee Han-Jun, the dangerous businessman. But if I'm Lee Han-Jun, the man so in love he proposes to a dedicated nurse? That's romantic. That's humanizing. Teni, process this. You want me to be your PR cover. I want you to be my fiancé. We attend events. Make appearances. Meanwhile, you get to live in luxury, rebuild your savings, and he paused meaningfully. You get to watch your sister and ex-boyfriend squirm every time they see us together. Teni took a sip of whiskey. It burned going down. How long would this last? 6 months. Maybe a year. After that, we have a quiet breakup. You get a generous settlement, enough to go back to medical school anywhere in the world. I get my businesses stabilized. We both walk away winners. It was insane. But Teni thought about going back to her tiny apartment. Going back to double shifts and being invisible while Olivia and Baek-Seok lived their perfect life. I have conditions, she said. Han-Jun raised an eyebrow. Of course you do. First, I need to know exactly what you do. If I'm going to lie for you, I need to know what I'm lying about. Agreed. Full transparency. Second, no actual crime. I won't help you with anything illegal. I'll be your fiancé, I'll smile at parties, but I won't break the law. Fair enough. Third, you treat me with respect. In public and in private. This might be fake, but I won't be treated like property. Han-Jun's expression softened slightly. I wouldn't dream of it. And finally, Teni took a deep breath. I want help with something. What kind of help? My sister's skincare company. I want to know everything about it. How it's funded. Who her investors are. Han-Jun leaned forward, suddenly very interested. Why? Because I know my sister. She doesn't have the business sense to build a company from scratch. Someone helped her. And I want to know who and why. A slow smile spread across Han-Jun's face. You want revenge. I want the truth. What happens after that? Teni met his eyes. We'll see. Han-Jun extended his hand. Then we have a deal. Welcome to the performance of a lifetime, Teni Morrison. Teni shook his hand. His grip was firm, warm, and somehow reassuring despite everything. One more question, she said. Why did you really help me back there? You could have walked away. Han-Jun was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was different. Softer. 3 years ago, I watched someone I cared about get destroyed by people she trusted. Her family. People she'd sacrificed everything for. By the time I found out, it was too late to help her. He looked at Teni. When I saw you in that bathroom, I saw that same look in your eyes. The moment someone realizes they've been used. I couldn't save her. But maybe I could help you. Teni felt something shift in her chest. This wasn't just a business arrangement for him. It was personal. What happened to her? Teni asked quietly. She gave up. Stopped fighting. Let them win. Han-Jun's jaw tightened. I won't let that happen to you. The car pulled up to a luxury high-rise in Gangnam. Come upstairs, he said. We have a lot to plan. Teni followed him into an elevator that required a fingerprint scan. They rode up in silence to the penthouse. The doors opened directly into Han-Jun's apartment. It was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul. Minimalist furniture. Expensive art. Make yourself comfortable, Han-Jun said, pouring them both fresh drinks. Tomorrow your life changes completely. Tonight, you can still walk away. Teni walked to the window. Seoul glittered below her. Somewhere down there, Olivia and Baek-Seok were probably still at the party, trying to salvage their special moment. What happens tomorrow? Teni asked. Tomorrow, we make this official. Press conference. Staged photos. Your sister and ex-boyfriend will see us on every news site in Seoul. By tomorrow night, you'll be famous. And what do you get out of this? Really? Han-Jun stood beside her at the window. A chance to be someone other than the dangerous man everyone fears. Even if it's just pretend. Teni looked at him. Really looked at him. Underneath the expensive suit and dangerous reputation, she saw something familiar. Loneliness. The same loneliness she'd been carrying for years. Okay, she said. Let's do this. But if we're going to convince anyone, we need a story. How did we meet? Han-Jun smiled. We met 6 months ago. At the hospital. I came in with a work injury. Knife wound, Teni interrupted. You came in with a knife wound. Refused to tell anyone how it happened. I was your nurse. You were stubborn, but I made you laugh. Han-Jun's eyes lit up. I came back the next day with flowers. You told me you don't date patients. So you got yourself discharged and came back as a visitor. Brought me coffee every night for a week. Until you finally agreed to dinner. They were building the lie together, and somehow it felt more real than anything Teni had experienced in years. What made you fall in love with me? Teni asked. Han-Jun's expression turned serious. You saw past who everyone thought I was. You didn't care about my reputation or my money. You just saw me. The way he said it made Teni wonder how much of this was actually a lie. And what made me fall in love with you? She asked softly. I made you feel seen. For the first time in your life, someone put you first. Teni's breath caught. He'd nailed it. The exact thing she'd been missing. We're going to be very good at this, she whispered. Yes, Han-Jun said. We are. He stepped back. There's a guest room down the hall. Stay tonight. Tomorrow we'll get you moved into the apartment next door. But tonight, you should rest. Teni nodded, suddenly exhausted. She'd just agreed to fake an engagement with a dangerous man she didn't know. But for the first time in years, she didn't feel invisible. Han-Jun, she said as he headed toward his own room. He turned back. Thank you. For tonight. For everything. He studied her face. Don't thank me yet. This life comes with a price. Make sure you're ready to pay it. Then he disappeared down the hall, leaving Teni alone with her thoughts and a diamond ring that felt like both a promise and a warning. Teni woke up in a bed that cost more than she made in 3 months. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she saw the massive windows, the Seoul skyline, and the diamond ring still on her finger. It hadn't been a dream. She found Han-Jun in the kitchen, making coffee. "Morning," he said. "How'd you sleep?" Like someone who just made the worst decision of her life. Or the best. Time will tell. He pulled out his phone. "You're already trending. #1 on Naver." He showed her the screen. Photos from last night. Headlines. Mystery nurse steals Seoul's most eligible bachelor. Sister versus sister. Engagement party turns into engagement war. "Oh my God," Teni whispered. "My parents." Already handled. I had my assistant message them explaining that you fell in love, that it happened fast, that you'll call them later. Teni stared at him. "You used my phone? Fingerprint reader while you were sleeping." We needed to control the narrative. He wasn't even slightly apologetic. This was the real Han-Jun. Teni's phone started buzzing. Calls. Texts. Social media notifications. The first call was from Olivia. Teni picked up. "What the hell, Teni?" Olivia screamed. "Who is that man? Why would you pull a stunt like that at my party?" Teni felt something cold settle in her chest. "Your party? Is that really what you're worried about? You humiliated me. The entire internet is comparing our rings and saying mine looks cheap. Not, are you okay? Not, is this real?" Just anger that Teni had stolen her spotlight. "Olivia," Teni said slowly, "Baek-Seok was my boyfriend. For 4 years. "Oh, don't start with that," Olivia snapped. "You two were practically over anyway. He told me you never had time for him. Because I was working to support you. Nobody asked you to do that. You made that choice. You can't throw it in my face forever." Teni looked at Han-Jun. He was watching her with knowing eyes. "You're right," Teni said calmly. "I did make that choice. And now I'm making a different one. I'm choosing me. By faking an engagement? Come on, Teni. He doesn't love you." "His name is Han-Jun," Teni interrupted. "Lee Han-Jun. You might want to look him up." There was a pause. Typing. Then silence. Then a quiet "oh." "Yeah," Teni said. "Oh. Teni." Olivia's voice changed completely. Became sweeter. "I didn't realize you were seeing someone so successful. Why didn't you tell me?" There it was. The moment Olivia realized Teni might be useful again. "We kept it private," Teni said. "Han-Jun values his privacy. But I should go. We're thinking a winter wedding. Small and intimate." "Wait, Teni." Teni hung up. Her hands were shaking. Han-Jun gently took the phone and set it on the counter. "How does it feel?" he asked. "Like I want to throw up and celebrate at the same time." "That's called freedom." The phone buzzed again. Her mother. Teni answered. "Hi, Mom." "Teni Morrison, explain what I'm seeing all over the internet." "I met someone. His name is Han-Jun. We've been seeing each other for a few months. It moved fast, but Mom, he makes me happy. Why didn't you tell us about him?" "Because I wanted something that was just mine for once." There was a long pause. "Is this about Olivia and Baek-Seok?" her mother asked quietly. "Partially. But it's more about me. I've spent 6 years taking care of everyone else. I'm tired, Mom." "Oh, baby." Her mother's voice cracked. "I didn't realize. We never meant for you to sacrifice." "I know. But I did. And now I need to take care of myself." "Is he good to you?" Teni looked at Han-Jun. "Yes," she said. And surprisingly, it felt true. "He sees me. Really sees me." "Then bring him to dinner. Your father and I are flying to Seoul next week for Olivia's engagement celebration. We want to meet him." Teni's eyes widened. "Olivia's engagement dinner." "We'll be there," Teni said. After she hung up, Han-Jun raised an eyebrow. "Dinner with the parents already? Next week. Can you handle it?" "I've negotiated with corrupt politicians. I think I can manage your parents." He paused. "Meeting them the same night as your sister's dinner? That's going to be intense." "Good," Teni said. "I want Olivia to see exactly what she's lost." Han-Jun studied her. "You're embracing this faster than I expected. You said yesterday that you stopped suffering when you started making your own choices." Well, this is my choice. Han-Jun pulled out a credit card. You need new clothes. Starting this afternoon, you're going to be photographed everywhere. You need to look like someone who belongs with me. Teni bristled. I'm not going to become some trophy. I'm not asking you to change who you are. I'm asking you to dress the part so people take you seriously. He pushed the card across. The limit is unlimited. Buy what makes you feel powerful. Teni picked up the card. This was really happening. One more thing, Han-Jun said. Starting today, you'll get offers. Brands will want endorsements. Media will want interviews. Say no to everything until we decide on a strategy. What kind of strategy? What do you actually want, Teni? Long term. After this ends. What's the goal? Teni thought about it. I want to go back to medical school. Become a surgeon. Good. Then we build you a narrative. You're a dedicated healthcare worker who sacrificed her dreams for family, caught the eye of a powerful man who wants to help her achieve those dreams. By the time we're done, medical schools will be competing to recruit you. Teni felt something unfamiliar stirring. Hope. And what about Olivia? What about her? You said you'd help me find out who funded her company. Han-Jun showed her a file. Your sister's company was funded by Kim Baek-Seok. He took out a massive loan, Korean 1500 million, from a venture capital firm called Phoenix Holdings. Teni's eyes widened. That's almost $500,000. Phoenix Holdings isn't a legitimate VC firm. It's a front for the Park family. The Park family? One of Seoul's major organized crime families. Baek-Seok's loan was approved because he promised them access to the influencer market. Teni felt sick. So my sister's entire company is built on criminal money? And Baek-Seok is in debt to very dangerous people. If the company fails, there will be consequences. What kind of consequences? Han-Jun's expression was grim. The kind that end careers. Teni stared at the file. This was the revenge she'd wanted. Not violence. Just truth. Just consequences. Can I just sit on this information? Not use it yet. Of course. It's yours to do with as you please. Teni closed the file. I want to watch them for a while. See if they implode on their own. Han-Jun smiled. You're a quick learner. Okay. Shopping first. Then what? Then we meet with a stylist, publicist, and media trainer. By tomorrow, you'll be ready for your first official appearance as my fiancé. Which is a charity gala. All of Seoul's elite will be there. Including your sister. We'll make our debut. Teni felt butterflies. I've never been to a gala. You'll be fine. Just stay close to me. He paused. When we're in public, we need to sell this. That means acting like a couple in love. Are you comfortable with that? You mean like, holding hands? Kissing? All of it. Teni thought about the kiss last night. We should practice. Han-Jun's eyebrows rose. Practice? You said we can't look awkward. So we should practice. He studied her, then walked around the counter until he was standing in front of her. Close enough that she could smell his cologne. All right. Show me how you'd greet me at a public event. Teni's heart was racing. But she'd already crossed so many lines. What was one more? She stepped closer and slid her arms around his neck. He responded immediately, hands settling on her waist. They fit together surprisingly well. Hi, she whispered. Hi, he said back. Then she kissed him. It was different from last night. Less desperate. More deliberate. Testing the boundaries of their arrangement. When they broke apart, Han-Jun's eyes were dark. That'll work, he said, voice slightly rough. Good, Teni said, stepping back before she did something stupid like kiss him again. But as she headed to the guest room, she couldn't help wondering how much of this was still acting. And at what point would the line between fake and real disappear completely? End of part 1. If you want to see part 2, where Teni faces her family, confronts her sister at the engagement dinner, and discovers whether her arrangement with Han-Jun might become something more, subscribe to Afro Soul Romance Tales. Drop a comment telling me what you think Teni should do next. Should she expose Olivia's shady business dealings? Should she let herself fall for Han-Jun for real? Let me know below.